careful because you might be pretty close to this. I'm exaggerating it a bit, but you might be close. What looks better, this or boom, this? Right. You can see here something that you will hear me say 1,000 times when I'm breaking down this position is chest parallel. I like to think of my chest being parallel with the seat. Okay, keeping that chest down, head up position. Maintaining a chest down position is going to help you so much in the counteraction of acceleration and deceleration forms. Okay, so when you get on the power, which way does the force push you? Yes. When you roll the throttle on, the force that is exerted on your body pushes you back. Therefore, you need to first move forward before you accelerate, right? Because if I stay in a back position and accelerate, I then have to use muscle to get in front of the machine, right? So initiating the movement forward is extremely important. We have to first move with our body. When I hit the brakes, where does the force push me? Forward. So I need to initiate first, back. And in fact, you will see when I transition from acceleration to deceleration, you will actually see me allow the bike to come out from under me during acceleration, then move with my hips back. I'm trying to minimize any exertion of muscle on the machine. So, first thing we do here is we focus on that body position. You can see we are chest parallel. My knees are back behind my toes. I'm not here. I'm here. My chest is parallel. My abs are tight. My knees are behind. I have the ability to flex up and down with my heels. Right? So, from this position, as I accelerate, the force pushes me back. I need to preemptively move forward before that force pushes me. So I'm here. As I accelerate, forward. You guys see that movement? We're here. If you do it proper, things there. You guys see how far forward my head moves? Yes. My legs are straight, aren't they, as I go into that position? I am focusing on almost straightening my knees out, and I want to feel, again, that tension in my hamstrings. My chest is down, my head is way forward. Commonly, we see guys go into acceleration, and they stay back. Let me show you what we see. Maybe they have this position okay, but they don't move, right? When they go to accelerate, they stay here. Did you guys see that? As soon as I got onto the power, what happened? The bike starts to wheelie. You can see I'm starting to hang on with my hands. Commonly, and I'll tell you right now, I've taught classes where guys have stayed in that position. They go into acceleration, they stay there, and I have video on my phone of a dude literally just backflipping off the back of his bike, just whiskey throttle. Because as soon as that front tire starts to come up, you hang on tighter and you turn more, right? That's where whiskey throttle comes into play. So this movement to stay in front of the force is so important. Now the other thing we see is we allow that bike to move out, and I drive my hips back behind. I'm really not like hanging back, I'm not pushing back. I'm just kind of allowing the bike to come out from under me, and I'm holding those hips back and I'm pressing through of the ball of my foot on the pegs. Now, did you guys notice another thing here? Did you guys hear the bike every time I hit the brakes? You guys can hear that chatter, right? AJ mentioned it. It is so important to understand that when you are braking, you shouldn't be pulling in your clutch. This is a common mistake that we see. Riders go to hit the brakes, they pull their clutch all the way in. Does anybody know why we don't do that? Anybody? Engine braking is one huge reason. The other reason is if you pull your clutch all the way in, right, your bike is, you don't get the engine braking. If you're on a two-stroke, there's not a lot of engine braking on these, but if you pull your clutch all the way in, you're freewheeling. And a freewheeling rear tire locks up. A lock-up and slide is much less efficient than a rolling braking rear tire, right? I know most of you guys probably live in Utah, so if you slam on your brakes in the winter and it's icy on the roads, your car does anti-lock brakes for you, right? And it goes gack, 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 gack. That's, you're essentially creating your own version of anti-lock brakes by leaving the clutch out and feathering the rear brake. It's very important to learn how to feather that rear brake properly. So what we are going to do is we're going to practice our acceleration and deceleration form. We don't need to go fast. This is always a thing that happens, especially in bigger classes. Guys will tend to just get on it and go 1,000 miles an hour. Doesn't matter. Literally, you can go 1 mile an hour and get the same result, right? We're just trying to get our body position right. I'm going to look at every single one of you guys and try to work with every single one of you guys. Now, what I want to do is we have this nice big open space here. I want to do a left-handed turn oval track, okay? So I'm going to give you an example, and then we're all going to go. Possibly we'll do two because there's so many people. Maybe we'll do one this way, one that way, just so we
Yeah, I know. Need to have the water truck out here. Like, welcome to Utah.
together just in this circle. In fact, would you go ahead and go, just give me a couple acceleration, deceleration, and I'll wave you down, and then we'll do it together, okay? Putting you on the spot, bro. Be brave. So what was your question first, so everybody sees where his problem was?
I'm just having trouble, like, with my body position when it comes to find my brake.
You can feel that drive forward that I talked about and that's a common one. So often that's because you're moving at the wrong time. So it could mean that you're braking too early. You're applying brakes, then you're trying to move. If you're applying brakes and trying to move, you have to use muscle to get behind the forces that are being exerted on yourself. You see, you and your bike are two separate objects in motion. So you need to learn how to move in front of the forces. As you accelerate, the force pushes you back, but you need to first move forward. As you decelerate, the force pushes you forward, but you need to first move back. So if you're feeling your knees drive forward, you may be hitting the brake too early. It could be a symptom of something else as well. So let's see you do it, and let's see what we can do. where your rear brake is. If you're having to look down for your rear, right, that's gonna make it always a little harder, right? You've gotta get into the habit, and that's probably from not using your rear brake that much. We're also seeing you're pulling the clutch in as you go into that braking. So you're pulling your clutch in, the tire's locking. Yeah. Whereas my tire isn't locking, right? It remains in motion. You guys can hear the chatter. So those two things, I think you're kind of like guessing where that rear brake is. So you're really kind of bringing your whole foot over the rear, whereas I just go to my toe and back and forth, right? And I don't have to look at where it is, and my foot goes to the exact same place every time because I've done it many times. It's through repetition that you're going to get that. But looking for it is kind of making you like, you're actually looking down quite a bit. So try and focus on keeping your eyes forward and just finding that rear. Also, what we want to see is no clutch on the rear brake. Now, as far as body position goes, often what you do is you will revert back to your level of training. So whatever you're practicing, you're going to revert back to it when it matters, especially when the pressure's on and you're doing it for the whole class. We see your chest start to come up more and more. The more that chest comes up, the more likely your knees are going to come forward. Yes, so your chest is kind of like, you started here, you went to the acceleration place, but then you're slowly starting to go here, to this position. And you can see that you're getting closer and closer to going back to where your habit lies, which is a little bit more straight up and down chest up position. Now, the other thing that I want to see you do is trying to keep your knees back for longer and almost squatting to the rear fender as you're braking, okay? So instead of it, think of it like you're dropping down and you're getting that distance down close to the bike by bending your knees stay in the same position, and all that's happening is you're hinging at that point with your knees, and you're hinging at that point. Yes, if you look at my lower body, I go here, and my knees really don't move that much, right? Notice my knees the whole time through acceleration or braking. It's not like I go here. Right? We're seeing a couple of you guys, when you go into acceleration, instead of going here, my knees stay in the same position. As soon as you start moving back and forth with your knees, you're going to be much more likely to go into that improper position. Okay, so let's do it one more time, me and you together, and then we'll pick somebody else. He's going to start to find less of that knee forward position, going back and forth. Yes?
Is that something that like his brake lever needs adjusted? Or
yeah, you know, I
it?
personally run mine quite high, and you know, that's kind of for the tricks, for the slow wheelies. I don't want to have to be reaching for my rear brake, but also there is function in that. Like I run mine so it's engaged right there. You can see pretty much level with my peg, I'm not going like this for braking. So you might want to adjust your brake up. You can see yours is down quite a bit. Yeah, and yeah, you would want to go up a little more for sure. Good question. That's a solid one. Any other questions on it? Yeah.
When you're braking like that, are you trying to drop your heel? Like when you're getting your weight back, are you trying to push your heels down as well?
Yeah, I mean, think about it as you're pressing into your pegs, so you don't need to use your arms so much. In fact, often, like if you guys were to watch me on a turn track or something, on the straights and into the corners, I am reminding myself to just make sure that I'm loose on the handlebars. Like you can see my hands when I'll hang my fingers a little bit just to make sure that I'm not hanging on. I shouldn't have much pressure on the handlebars. That pressure is through the peg. Now, you can see though as I brake, I'm not really thinking about dropping my heels so much because obviously my right foot is going to be on the heel or close to the heel because my toe is on the brake. My left foot is going to be pressing into the peg though, but I'm not consciously thinking drop your heels here. I am thinking it on acceleration, and you guys will see it if you guys come over to the log stuff, we'll start to practice that heel drop position. But that being said, it doesn't matter if it's a log or a jump or whatever, that same drive through and straighten out with the knees, it's identical. First, you need to be able to do it on flat. Okay. One guy on a KTM, and I should have, it might have been you. 212, my man. Okay, let's see ya. Do your best. Putting you on the spot.
All right.
I know I'm doing it. Yeah, you took off all your gear. Got it. Go ahead and do a couple. So far, pretty good position. Yeah. A little late. Pretty good. Not bad at all. Notice how even in the corners, guys, with your knees a little bit on the braking. It's like you're almost moving back too late. Okay, so you need to almost allow that bike to come out. What you'll find is most of the time when you're riding, you're just allowing back and forth movement. You're allowing the bike to come out from under you or move behind you, right? You're trying to stay in front of whatever forces are being exerted on you. And that's just you kind of being a little late. It's like you're kind of trying to be a little lazy, and it's like the bike isn't coming out from under you. As soon as you're braking too early, you can see you're in a more forward position, and you're going to end up going to your hands and your bars, right? So it's going to be a little harder. Let's get one more rider. Who's brave? Who wants to volunteer? Yeah. Go ahead. I would like to see him keep him hinged a little bit more. So you're going a little bit into that, like, almost like he's leaning his hips on the bars, right? He's like resting his hips on the bars instead of keeping your hips back and driving with your head. So let me show you. So you're going to here. Whereas I want you keeping those hips back. See how that stays back? That makes sense? But that's pretty minimal. That's a better habit to have than a knees forward habit. Does anybody feel like they're struggling with a knees forward position? Anybody? Anybody? Let's see you. You know, I know you were like, this is backwards in the little meeting. Good job. Good knee back position. You could get your chest down quite a bit more. Like you're still not getting to that chest parallel position. Key in your approach, no matter the riding. I obsess on balance because I know how much it has helped me so much as a rider to be able to ride over stuff like that with ease, right? I mean, I'm not really thinking about doing that anymore because I've done it so many times. A huge piece of that is body position and balance. You can't hit an obstacle like that if you're out of balance. Understanding that you need to maximize your slow speed control is very key, and it's also just a large understanding of how we make our bike do what we want it to, or really close together. You'd be surprised how many riders struggle to weave through cones. Even the mini guys, you guys got smaller wheelbase and you're still, it's tough still. The understanding of balance control and how we use the power delivery of our machine to maintain our balance is key. So let's say you're hitting a rutted corner, right? Let's say you overlean in a rutted corner. What do you use to pull yourself back out? Throttle, right? You give it more throttle. That puts more pressure into the wall of the rut and helps you push your body back, right? It's very similar at 0 miles an hour. Most riders don't realize I'm using throttle and clutch together to maintain my balance. So, first thing I always say is like, you need to be able to do this all day long, right? I mean, static balance to me is key, but on top of that, the understanding of how we use throttle and clutch to maintain our balance is how we take that to the next level, okay? So that's what I'm going to explain. If I fall to the right, I turn to the right, if I fall to the left, I turn and slip to the left. If I fall to the right, I turn and slip. Sounds simple, but you'd be surprised at how hard it is. Now, same thing here. If you give me a little push, he pushes me, I slip the clutch in that direction. Same thing, bud. Give me a little push. And it is push. I know, I'm not really sure if I even felt that. real quick. There you go. Oh, the understanding of balance is so key. If I fall to the left, I slip to the left. If I fall to the right, I slip to the right. That control is so key when you're riding technical terrain, or you're riding rutted terrain, or you're riding over obstacles. So this is balance control. There's a lot of subtleties that go into my control as I weave through these cones. I want you guys to notice my head over foot position. Okay, so naturally, when people stand, right, you kind of lock out your leg and you put all your weight on your right foot, or you stand on your left foot. Notice how my head is always over my foot. Even when you walk, you subtly put your head over the foot where your weight lies, right? We want to do the same thing on a motorcycle. We want to make riding a motorcycle as natural as possible. So notice how my head remains over my right or left foot as I turn from right or left. So once I start here, I'll turn to the left, my head will go over my right foot. Here we are, I go to the left, boom, head over right foot. As I go to the right, boom, head over left foot. Back and forth, head over right foot. Listen to the bike here. You guys hear that bike? It's one steady throttle, isn't it? I'm not actually ever coming off of the throttle, and I'm never going all the way out or all the way in on the clutch. I'm maintaining a friction zone slip the entire time. I'm keeping that bike in that friction zone. You know the bike's running? There it is idling. Right? It never sounds like that as I go through those obstacles, do I? So I'm always kind of maintaining that clutch slip. Now, it is very important, even on a motocross track, to understand your friction zone. As you get deeper into technical riding, for those of you that want to learn how to do a double blip, for those of you that want to learn how to ride over a log, for those of you that want to hit a double like that, a log double, the understanding of that friction zone is so key for the load, acceleration, and deceleration of your bike. I use a load to get over. I use that friction zone to steer the bike, just like it sounds. As I do those cones, as I enter, and then I use a load of power in that friction zone. Same thing here. Same thing here. Balance, right? Slip of the clutch. Balance, body position, clutch control, power delivery. How we're using this bike to maximize our efficiency on this thing. Did you guys see as I doubled that, I go into that exact acceleration position. Watch my knees. What you guys were just working on flat ground. See my knees there? Pulling those knees back. Same as that acceleration practice that we were just doing. So it's very important to understand the maximization. So, who's brave? Who wants to try a cone weave? Who's brave? Go ahead and give it a shot. Give this one a shot. And from there, I'll help you and see where we can get better.
Just try and go every other one to start and just keep a steady throttle, get used to it. Oh.
This got so off balance. Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Hips back, knees behind toes. We drop our heels, pull our knees back, and drive with our head. Same thing here as we hit an off. You guys see the similarities here? Watch the knees and acceleration. Watch the knees over an obstacle. Seems very, very simple, but almost match the angle. See that movement? That is acceleration and deceleration form over an obstacle. When I do the full jumping of it, right? If I'm like getting a little pop off of the obstacle. That snap through my knee.